I remember that as clearly as if I was sitting here watching a movie on television. If this is what I have to look forward to for the rest of my life, I wasn't going to stick around for it.
Total blindness is, it's, everything is black. The Army decided to place me on imminent death status, meaning they were giving me 24 hours yet to live.
It really sends a pain through you. I wonder how many children and people I killed bombing. I was damaged goods. I had a stroke in my bed at about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd just given up.
Hi, my name's Colleen Colton, and I'm a Navy veteran. I have PTSD, major depression disorder, and an anxiety disorder that causes panic attacks. I spent 9 years in the military as a Navy corpsman, and as a result of one of the ambulance calls that I went on, I developed PTSD. Not all wounds are visible, and there's such a stigma, a lot of anxiety, anger, nightmares. PTSD is it's something that's with you lifelong. When there becomes a lot of stressors in your life, things kind of spin out of control. In 2011, my husband and I had a house fire. My mother was diagnosed with an aggressive form of uterine and cervical cancer. In 2013, we received a phone call that my brother, who was only 13 months older than me, had been found dead. He too was a veteran with PTSD. And that was really the straw that broke the camel's back for me, as you could say. One day, I was standing in an aisle. I don't know what it was that triggered it, but I had a horrible flashback. And I ended up calling my sister to help me out of the store because I couldn't move. This would be the front door. And then this is my quilting room in here. I finally decided that I wasn't going to leave the house anymore. The depression was just overwhelming because it plays over and over and over again. I can tell you what time of day that ambulance phone rang. I can tell you down to the minute details of that situation. What I'd really like is if you would consider me for a service dog to help me. I ended up admitted to the VA hospital on 2 separate occasions because it was just, I couldn't do it. I was pretty much done.
Lightning and thunder sends me under the bed. What I saw over there, you change quickly because you see things that you've only read about. I volunteered to go to Vietnam almost immediately. Unfortunately, we were doing things, Agent Orange, and I had contact with that, but we didn't know. The chemical would float down the rivers. They started having all their babies being born without arms, without legs, all types of serious stuff like that. And that just hit me directly because I took part in that. But as soon as I got home, I started having some major problems, and they put me in Duke Hospital.
One more signature right there.
I started losing all the skin on my tongue and throat. Drove home. Next morning, I woke up with a major heart attack. I had diabetes, which I'd never thought before. And diabetes from Vietnam has been linked to Agent Orange. I had another heart attack after the angioplasty. I had a seizure. I had a stroke, and that came from the heart attack, which came from not being diagnosed from way back. That initiated a problem where I was falling a lot. VA was very worried that I was going to fall and hit my head. They said, if you fall, it could be a one-time fall. I used to be a real big people person, you know. I lived at the coast. I did a lot of things. I went through a divorce. All of a sudden, you feel like you're alone. And I was ready to check out. They recommended that I get a dog. And I mailed the paperwork from Duke doctors, and all of them signed off on me needing a service animal.
Yeah, if somebody would have said years ago all this was going to happen, I'd been like, what? Like, kidding? Like, that could never happen.
My name's Leslie Nicole Smith. I'm a retired Army captain. I actually decided to go into the Army because my dad had served. In 2001, I volunteered to deploy to Bosnia. Serving your country instills this overwhelming sense of just pride of like, I'm doing more than myself and I'm giving back. And I was on top of the world. I was loving life. I felt like I had a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan with the military. Life just flipped upside down. They were, like you have a blood clot. I had complications that started with spontaneous bleeding. Without any warning, without any symptoms, signs, it just happened. The doctors had said to my parents, you really need to start saying your goodbyes because probably by 4 in the morning, Leslie's not going to be with us anymore. It really comes down to your willingness to fight. Fortunately, and I feel by the grace of God and even I think my own stubbornness too, that it really wasn't my time. But they weren't able to save my left leg, so right below the knee, it was amputated. One day, you're kind of like, wow, I survived. And then the next day you could be, oh my gosh, what happened? I'm totally disfigured now and deformed. Then I more or less hit the brick wall again. And without any warning, signs, symptoms, nothing like that, I lost all of the sight in my left eye, actually pretty much while I was sleeping. It's like pure devastation of not really having answers, like clear-cut answers. I would bump into things more and more. Your balance gets off, as well. And I knew there were service dog organizations. And it was like, maybe it really is time, and maybe I do deserve to have a service dog, or at least to apply.
The veterans have given so much for our country.
Zora, let's hug open. Let's go. Good.
They didn't ask to come home in the conditions they're in,
All right, take bottle.
whether it be mental health or physical. And we take it very personally.
The training process is extensive. By the time they're all trained, the dogs are going to know over 90 different commands.
Reach, drop. Yes, good boy.
They're not another number in the system. It's not about giving them another pill to take.
Give. Yes, good boy.
They need every medical option available to man. And if a service dog is one of them, that's what we want to be able to provide.
Zora, take keys.
They'll be able to pick up things as small as the back to a pierced earring or as large as a briefcase. They'll be able to pull a wheelchair, load a wheelchair into a van, turn on and off light switches, load a washing machine, unload a dryer.
Yes.
Stand and brace to help somebody recover from a fall.
Can I brace?
The dogs are valued around $50,000 when they're ready to be partnered. You know, the dog seems to know they're ready.
We put a match together and it just becomes one of those magic moments in time.
The handlers brought their dogs in making a parade around, and I didn't know which one was mine. And then he walked out with his handler. And I mean, just look at him. I mean, that's perfect. And they said, "That's your dog." And I said, "Oh my God." He walked around with his ears cocked up, his tail up. When he walks, he's proud. I knew I'd gotten somebody really special. I've always loved the water ever since I was a little kid. Water to me is a healing. It just relaxes me and everything, kind of makes me forget. This is the first time I've been back on a boat in 2 years. Simply for the fact of what happened to me. I would fall every time. "Admiral, do you like it?" You give up certain things. "Say, buddy, you like it?" "Wait a minute." His main thing is to keep me from falling. That's his main command. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Hey, sunshine! Woo-hoo! Good buddy. Look, bird up there. See? Look, see birds out there? I wouldn't be out here if it wasn't for Abner. I mean, if I didn't have Abner, some pretty homes, aren't they? I wouldn't be using the water at all. I was going to buy that one right there, but I didn't have enough money.
Me too.
He lets me laugh now. I'm going to take you right down here and show you where our house is in conjunction with the rest of the lake. The houses are something, buddy. That's a good buddy. You know, I've always said, you know, I'd like a big house, but then I start thinking, you know, why don't I have a lot of small houses? Maybe one in Paris, maybe one on the Mediterranean. It's been a good thing for me. But if it wasn't for him, it'd be just another place. I love you, buddy. It would be just another place. Let's go. Want to run? You start seeing all these people getting off airplanes. They're coming back with tremendous injuries also. And they're young people. They got their whole lives ahead of them. Am I taking someone's dog? I'm almost ended. Why have I been picked, you know? It bothers me. Doesn't bother him. He knows no boundary, he doesn't know race, he doesn't know anything except he's here to assist me, be with me. And I'm gonna get more dependent on him. I mean, he knows that too, he can feel it. He sees me changing almost on a daily basis. And he's right there with me.
I will never forget, Rick said, "We have the perfect dog for you. His name is Isaac, and he's been waiting for his special person." When I very first saw Isaac in person, it was just this overwhelming sense of magic. I literally felt like electricity went through me. Like when you turn on the Christmas tree and you see the lights for the first time. I literally felt like electricity went through me. Isaac and I instantly bonded. He understood completely. He immediately went to my left side and placed himself there. I said, "Oh my gosh, there's my dog. He's going to help me." Initially, when I had lost my leg, my plan was to move to Alaska and I was going to wear snowsuits the rest of my life. That was literally like initially, I was going to hide. I was bumping into things, especially, at the store. I would bump into people with the shopping cart. I would find myself then saying, "I'm really sorry, I'm blind in one eye, I didn't see you."
Like I always say, there's never enough time there to talk about my main man, Isaac.
That's right.
I rely on Isaac for everything. The emotional side, the mental side, the physical support. This whole new sense of freedom opened up for me. I went back to work. I was staying actively involved with different organizations. We were doing great. We were traveling again. I mean, it was life-changing for me to get Isaac. Life-changing. And thank God I had Isaac. Because after that year of being together, I had another attack with the vision loss, only this time in my right eye. I ended up totally blind. It was complete darkness. On about the third day, a very small sliver of sight came back. When I first came home from the hospital and came back and actually sat down where I'm sitting now, and I had had surgery, so my eyes were a mess. And he positioned himself right in front. He stared into my eyes for what seemed like infinity and taking in everything. He knew something was different. He knew something had drastically changed. I went into the bathroom and I sat down on the vanity, and I remember I started crying because I was like, gosh, this really happened. I'm basically blind. I mean, I'm legally blind. I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't know, do I go back to work? I mean, how do I do things, And there was Isaac again, without any prompting of any sort, sitting right in front, and as I was crying, felt the very tip of his tongue, like little baby butterfly kisses, in the most gentle way ever, lick away the tears on both of my cheeks. And I know in that moment, he was telling me, "I've got you, Mom. Don't worry. I'm going to help you. I'm going to be there. Don't be scared. I'm never going to leave you. I'm always going to be by your side. We're a team." He makes me feel like I don't have a disability or a challenge. Whenever I drop something and he gets it, it's more or less, "Thanks, Isaac." Thank you. And life goes on. I don't stop and say, "Oh, geez, that's right, I can't see." I couldn't see where I dropped the pencil, and that makes me sad or mad because I'm not that same person anymore. It makes me smile. I don't think of it like I need help. It's just that team aspect of us working together, that's what gives me that hope.
Good job. Raya, circle. Yes, we finally got word that I qualified for a service dog. And I was beyond thrilled. I remember vividly. I'm sorry. I just knew. I knew she was going. She was going to be the catalyst of me getting my life back. And she has been. I could never have guessed what it would do for me to have her. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. She will stand behind me and people won't approach. I can ask her to circle me, kind of be that barrier for me. She wakes me up at night if I'm having a nightmare. If the depression gets too overwhelming, Uriah will stay with me within arm's reach all day long. She just has changed my life in so many ways. Her fur really absorbs tears very well. I don't know what I would do without her. I honestly don't believe that I would be here right now if she hadn't come into my life.
Is there a stay?
We're here to change lives.
Good boy.
It's an organization about heart. And for our veterans, maybe it means it's one less suicide. Take this. There are times that, excuse me, both of us could have shut the door and walked away. But that next person is waiting for their dog, for that moment for them.
He likes to dance. Yeah, it's shagging's all about leading. He'll follow my lead. He's definitely changed my life because I don't have the friends I used to have. I used to, be just surrounded by friends. And I know as you get older, you lose friends and such, but I don't have a lot of friends now. Don't take this wrong, it's not cruel. I don't need them because I've got him and he's better than anything. Right out from under my life. I have not heard that song, and so that was my favorite song. Smoke from a Distant Fire. Woo! God, fantastic. Alabama Boys. One-hit wonders. I tell him I love him all the time. A distant fire. I'll tell him, thank you for what you did. I love you, I hug him.
And the boy, he could roll a leg. Where he got the stuff, I don't know. Tarboro. All we did was laugh.
He's a lifesaver, best friend. The only fear I got is losing him. I just try to keep that in the back of my mind.
Service dogs are like wheelchairs to paralyzed people. Uriah is my wheelchair. I go everywhere with her. Uriah and I have only been apart for maybe a half an hour. She's been on planes and trains. She went to the Bahamas with us.
There's so many little moments that are so celebratory and special
Colleen called and she said they were getting ready to go down to the Bahamas on their dream vacation. And it's something that never would have happened without the dog. You know, you get a call from Leslie and she's just laughing hysterically. And it's like, what's so funny? And she's like, a year ago today, Isaac was ready to be euthanized. And we're riding in a stretch limousine going to a black tie event in Los Angeles.
Like, you're talking about me.
I had looked up what his name means, what Isaac means, and it means to laugh or to make you laugh. And I thought, you know, how perfect, because that is Isaac. He was a stray rescued in Myrtle Beach, taken to the shelter. And from what I understand, he was kind of a wild pup and a little bit extra, you know, rambunctious, mischievous, just lots of energy. And just people weren't really interested in him. And he was then placed on the euthanasia list with kind of that 24-hour time frame. So he himself was given 24 hours. I had been given 24 hours. I truly felt we were meant to be together.
I always say she's better trained than my husband. She minds better. Sorry, sweetie.
He is why I come home. Without him, it wouldn't be a home. It would just be a space with about 12 walls, and that's it. I'm Butch, and he's Abner, and we're a team. That would be what I'd want him to remember about me. Was that man really loved me? That was my partner.
We don't really know exactly what happened, other than exposure to a chemical agent or a toxin is what was kind of a final diagnosis, and that's not even a real true diagnosis. I think it's that true ability to know when you're given that second chance. That's where I guess I feel like maybe why Isaac and I were paired together, that there was a higher purpose. It's Leslie and Isaac.
Hi, this is Leslie and Isaac, the best service dog ever. Thanks for calling us, and sorry we can't talk right now, but please leave us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks, and hope you have a great day.
No regret. That's the one thing I do not have with having served and dealing with these issues that I have. With Isaac, it's like, let's get out there and kind of break down that stereotype. I have a prosthetic leg, which I show all the time now, proudly. There's no way we could ever stop. That wouldn't be us.
Animals have an incredible gift to give.
That's, again, what gives me that hope and inspiration.
What she's gone through would have crushed most people.
Like, don't even try to tell me now we can't do it.
Instead, she took it as a mandate to help others.
Those are the moments that are hard to argue with.
There was Isaac.
I think it goes beyond human. And that's why we do what we do.